Once again, good afternoon everyone and welcome to our next lesson which is rocks. No? Pag-uusapan po natin dito ay mga bato. Now, before we proceed with rocks, we were able to discuss the minerals. No? Ano ba yung mga minerals? When we say minerals, they are substances which are inorganic. Ibig po sabihin na sila po ay hindi gawa sa mga bagay na galing sa may buhay o dating may buhay. Okay? Halimbawa po ng dating may buhay, mga hayop at mga halaman. A mineral is naturally occurring in geologic process. So, hindi po siya pwedeng ginawa ng tao. Yan po ay isang characteristic din ng isang mineral. Para sabihin natin na ang isang substance ay mineral, dapat hindi po siya gawa ng tao. Kaya po, kung sasabihin natin na ang yelo ay inorganic at hindi rin ginawa ng tao, we can say that it is also a mineral. Kahit po ang salt, ang asin, kung hindi siya gawa ng tao and it contains inorganic substances, we can say that it is a mineral. Another characteristic of a mineral is that it is solid. Kapag po ang tubig ay ang yelo ay naging tubig, hindi na po siya mineral. Maliban na lang kung nakabote yan na tinatawag na mineral water because it contains minerals, no? It has definite chemical composition. Halimbawa po ang salt, meron siyang NaCl. Now, ang NaCl po kahit paano natin siya tignan, salt ang kalalabasan niyan. Ang H2O, kahit anong tignan natin dyan, tubig pa rin yan. Okay? Pero kapag ang tubig ay nilagay natin sa malamig na lugar, pwede siya mag-crystallize at pwede siya maging mineral. It has atomic structure, no? Meron silang distinct atomic structure that makes them unique to every minerals. Let's say for example, ang carbon at ang graphite, although they both made up of carbon, hindi po sila pareho ng atomic structure that makes them different, no, in their characteristic. Ang diamond po ay the hardest mineral on earth, while graphite is not that hard, no? Besides, napaka-brittle ng graphite. So, here are some examples of minerals. The one on your left, upper left corner is what we call the feldspar, potassium feldspar. Another one, yung very distinct sa kanyang kulay, yan ay isang sulfur. It is also an example of a mineral. We have here a muscovite mica, galena, no, which is an example of sulfide. We also have here a calcite, no, para siyang asin. And lastly, we have quartz. All of these are what we call minerals, examples of minerals. And we can classify them in terms of their physical properties and chemical properties. Physical properties in terms of color, odor, strake, luster, tenacity, and so on and so forth. Chemical properties, identifying them as a sulfate, a silicate, a carbonate, a native element. Okay? Yan yung mga tinatawag nating chemical properties. Now, all of these are what we call minerals. And because of geologic process, minerals may be combined to form rocks. This rock is an example of this is a granite, no? A granite contains feldspar, sulfur, muscovite mica, galena, calcite, and quartz. Kaya natin sinasabi that minerals are the building blocks of rocks. Okay? Meaning to say, ang mga rocks po ay nag-solidified. No? Minerals get crystallized, then combined to other minerals, then solidified, that forms rocks. Now we have different types of rocks. They are classified the way they were formed. We have only 3 types. First one is the igneous rock, sedimentary rock, and metamorphic rock. Alam ko po na hindi na bago sa inyo ang lahat ng ito, no? I understand that you already know the 3 types of rocks. However, ano po ang pagkakaiba nila? When we say igneous rock, they were formed through the cooling and solidification of magma or lava. I want you to take note of this. Magma or lava. Yes, an igneous rock may be formed from magma or may be formed from lava. Ano po ba ang pagkakaiba ng magma at lava? Magma, ang tawag po natin sa molten rocks na nasa loob pa ng earth. Meaning to say, ay nasa mantle pa. Lava is a molten rock as well na nasa labas na ng earth. Yan po yung nilalabas ng volcano. Lava. Bakit po magkaiba, no? Of magma or lava? Mamaya malalaman natin kung bakit. When we say sedimentary, on the other hand, they were formed from the deposition of different materials on Earth's surface. Take note, Earth's surface. Nabubuo po ang sedimentary sa Earth's surface. Unlike igneous, pwede siya sa loob, pwede siya sa labas. Ang sedimentary, sa labas. Lastly, we have the metamorphic rocks. They were formed from if you subject rocks, whether it is an igneous rock, a sedimentary rock, okay? If you will expose igneous and sedimentary rock or other metamorphic rock into high heat, high pressure, no? Or both, it can modify the characteristic of the rock. It can change the form of the rock. It will become a metamorphic rock. An igneous rock came from the Latin word ignis, which means fire. Apoy. When the molten magma crystallized, no? Nakakabuo po siya ng igneous rock. We have 2 types of igneous rocks, the intrusive and the extrusive. Ano po ang pagkakaiba ng mga igneous rocks na ito? Well, the location kung saan po sila nag-solidify, kung saan sila nag-crystallize. When we say intrusive igneous rocks, okay, again, when we say intrusive igneous rocks, nag-solidify po at nag-crystallize sa loob. Okay? Sa loob po sila nag-crystallize. While extrusive igneous rocks, sa labas. Ibig sabihin, lava na yung tumigas. Ang intrusive, magma ang tumigas. Ang extrusive, lava ang tumigas. Okay? Bakit po ang daming iba't ibang uri ng igneous rock? There are different types of igneous rocks according to the cooling time kung gaano katagal silang lumalamig. In intrusive rocks, meron tayong tinatawag na plutonic, no? Plutonic igneous rocks. Yan po yung mga nasa malapit na sa core. And because it is near the core, while solidifying, habang tumitigas yan at nagkikrystallize, crystals become larger. No? Magkikita po natin ang mga crystals niyan na mas malalaki. Unlike intrusive igneous rocks, somehow, ang cooling time po nila ay hindi ganon katagal. Unlike the plutonic. That is why, although it is evident na may mga crystallizations ng mineral sa kanya, hindi sila ganon kalaki katulad ng sa plutonic. While extrusive igneous rocks, dahil sa labas na yan ng earth lumamig, nag-solidify, napakabilis, no? Napakabilis na kanyang solidification. Since nag-solidify siya ng mabilis, crystals are not very evident. Hindi ganon napapansin ang mga crystals ng minerals. Okay? Pansinin po ninyo ito. Obsidian. Obsidian is an example of extrusive igneous rock that solidify very fast. Mabilis ang pagsusolidify niya. No, kaya kung mapapansin natin, parang wala siyang crystallization ng mga minerals. While pumice, ito maraming mga pumice sa paligid, no? Mapapansin ninyo ito. Ito yung magaan na madaling mag-powder. No, bakit po kaya siya kasama sa igneous rock? Pumice are types of extrusive igneous rock that contains gases, no? That contains gases from the time na ito ay magsusolidify. Kaya meron siyang bubble-bubble, no? Mabilis din siya nag-solidify, kaya halos wala siyang laman kasi puno siya ng bubble. Okay? Rhyolite is another example of extrusive igneous rock that contains silica, no? And medyo matagal, siguro 2 months or months yung binibilang para lumamig ng tuluyan ang rhyolite. Kaya kung mapapansin natin, hindi rin ganun ka-evident ang mga crystals. Ano? Scoria is another form of extrusive igneous rocks, as well as basalt. No? Ang basalt po, yan yung nakikita natin sa dagat. No? Nakikita natin yan sa ocean floor. Ang granite, on the other hand, granite is an example of intrusive. Kung babalikan po natin yung picture kanina, mapapansin natin na ang granite, makikita natin, madidistinguish natin yung mga minerals niya. Right? If you can distinguish the minerals of an igneous rock, meaning to say it is intrusive. Bakit? Kasi matagal ang crystallization, matagal ang solidification niya. Kaya nabuo ng maayos ang mga crystals ng minerals. Like granite. Ang granite, hindi naman siya napakailalim eh. No? Nasa ano lang, nasa bandang upper mantle lang. Unlike plutonic, no? Hindi katulad ng plutonic. That is the difference between intrusive and extrusive. No? Malalaki ang crystallization ng intrusive. Ang extrusive naman ay halos microscopic na. Hindi na masyadong ma-identify yung mga minerals. Okay, sa sobrang liit. Now, Another type of rocks are sedimentary rocks. Sediment is small pieces of what once were rocks or living things. Ito po ay ang pag-accumulate ng mga rock particles. In time, ang mga igneous rock po kasi, ang mga igneous rock, in time, they were subjected in geologic process, no? Nagkakaroon sila ng deterioration, natutunaw sila, nalulusaw sila, nagpupulverize sila, no? Yun po yung tinatawag nating geologic process, no? It comes to weathering. Now, may mga small pieces na dudurog and will be collected by nature as well, and will be glued together by nature again. Can be water or other chemical, no? Meaning to say, sedimentary rock are accumulation of other materials. It can also be made up of shells, pwede ring bones, leaves of plants, stem, and other remains of living things. Sa sedimentary rock din po natin nakikita ang mga fossils. They were formed through a process of erosion, deposition, compaction, and cementation. Yan yung pagkakasunod-sunod. To think, erosion, nag-erode or nagkaroon ng weathering sa lugar, ano? Nagkaroon ng erosion. Na-accumulate sa isang area, nagkaroon ng compaction, ibig sabihin at is an application of pressure, and cementation. Nabasa, nagdikit-dikit. That is sedimentary. Shale is an example of sedimentary rock that composed of very fine materials, no? Kaya kung mapapansin natin ng shale, para siyang mapino. Okay? Mapino yung shale. Breccia or breccia is another example of sedimentary rock na mapapansin po ninyo diyan sa example natin yung mga evidence of other rock particles. No? Dito sa lugar po natin, halos mga breccia yung mapapansin natin. No? Halos mga breccia yung makikita natin diyan sa ating mga paligid or bakuran. Makikita natin na yung mga bato ay nagkadikit-dikit. Parang sinimento. O hindi parang sinimento, nakasimento talaga. Another example is coal. Coal is a result of compaction of stem and leaves of trees or a plant. No? And then we have the limestone. Ang limestone naman po, it is an accumulation of several materials. Rocks, sand, shell, okay? Kaya nga, ang limestone po ay rich in carbonate minerals. No? Kasi nabubuo siya malapit sa mga beach, malapit sa mga matubig na lugar. Okay? Limestone. Lastly, we have the metamorphic rock. When we say meta, it means change, pagbabago. And morph means form, kaanyuan. So kung pagsasamahin po natin, ang metamorph, pagbabago sa anyo. Okay? Ang metamorphic rock po ay pwedeng igneous rock. Pwede rin siyang sedimentary rock na in-expose natin sa high pressure, in-expose natin sa high temperature, or pwedeng both. No? Both. Hindi tayo mag-expose, ha? Nature will expose these rocks, the igneous and sedimentary, into high pressure, into high temperature, no? And because of that exposure, the minerals inside of the rock, no, whether it is an igneous or it is a sedimentary, will undergo chemical and physical change. No? Magkakaroon ng chemical and physical change. Thus, nagbabago po ang itsura ng bato. Mapapansin po ninyo, halos parang nagkahalo na yung kulay, no, ng mga particles, ng accumulation dito sa mga metamorphic rock. Now, this is the life cycle or the cycle of rocks. Ganito yung nagiging buhay. After ng metamorphic rock, ano kaya ang susunod na mangyayari sa kanya? Rocks are natural substances consisting of minerals, no? Mga minerals lumped together with other earth materials formed due to natural processes. Pag sinabi nating natural processes, gawa ng nature, naulanan, o natural process yan. Inalon, natural process yan. Natuluan ng lava, natural process yan. Nag-crack dahil sa earthquake, natural process yan. Natunaw dahil sa tubig, natural process yan. Diyan po nabubuo ang rocks. The natural process of magma eruption, no? Magma eruption, crustal movements, and mountain buildings produces 3 different kinds of rocks. Yun nga yung igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic rocks. When magma was released in Earth's surface, no? When magma was released in Earth's surface, the lava crystallizes into igneous rocks. Using the volcano, di ba, maglalabas siya ng lava. Makikita ninyo, umaagos ang lava. When it crystallized, when it solidifies, ito po yung nagiging igneous rock. Okay? Pansinin po ninyo, magma. Magma, when solidified, it will become igneous rocks. Okay? Rocks are broken into pieces and tiny particles by agents of weathering. No? Ano-ano ba yung mga agents of weathering? Marami po yan. No? Meron tayong chemical weathering, meron tayong physical weathering. No? Kahit alin man po doon. Igneous rocks can be broken to pieces. Madudurog sila. And when that happens, elements of nature transport this particle as sediments. Halimbawa po, nag-disintegrate yung bato na nasa dagat, no? Nagpulverize siya, naging sand. Because of the nature, pwedeng hangin, yung alikabok, no? Alikabok, hangin, ulan, these particles will be transported and will be deposited in layers. Kaya kung mapapansin po ninyo ang mga bundok, no, ang mga bundok, kung hahatiin po natin siya sa gitna, meron siyang iba-ibang kulay. Meron siyang iba-ibang layer. Those are what we call sediments. No? These sediments are compacted, cemented, and hardened into sedimentary rocks. From igneous rock po, going to weathering and erosion to sediments. Naging sediment, yung mga particles, nag-compact, naging sedimentary rock. Okay? Nakaintindihan po. Now, igneous and sedimentary rocks may be heated by contact with magma, no? And changes its properties. Intense heat and pressure metamorphs the rock into a different kind. Hence, tinatawag po nating metamorphic rocks. So, igneous rock, no? Kapag yan po ay natunaw, dahil sa extreme heat, magiging magma. Okay? Kapag lumamig, magiging igneous rock. If you will subject the igneous rock to high pressure and temperature because of contact to magma, it can become a metamorphic rock. If a sedimentary rock is again subjected to heat and pressure, it will become a metamorphic rock. If a metamorphic rock, no, is subjected to weathering and erosion, it will become a sediment. And this sediment will be compacted into sedimentary rock. As well, a sedimentary rock, if subjected to weathering and erosion, it will become a sediment as well. Compacted, become a sedimentary rock. A metamorphic rock, kapag tinunaw mo yan, it will become a magma. And this magma will be solidified into an igneous rock. Paulit-ulit ang kanyang cycle. And this cycle ay hindi po mabilisan. Pangmatagalan. Geologic time ang sinasabi natin dyan. Geologic time scale ang pinag-uusapan dyan. Hindi po yung oras natin. Okay? Kapag sinabi nating weathering, hindi siya snap of a finger, matutunaw ang bato. Kapag sinabi nating melting, hindi siya snap of a finger, tunaw ang bato. Hindi siya, ang compacting and cementing, hindi siya ngayon din na nangyayari. Okay? What we're talking about here is that the rock cycle start from the beginning, no, up to metamorphic rock. At paulit-ulit ang kanyang cycle. Magma, tumigas, naging igneous, nagpulverize, naging sediment, naging sedimentary rock, sinubject sa init, naging metamorphic rock. Yung metamorphic rock, pwedeng tunawin para maging magma. Pwede ring isubject sa weathering para maging sediment, tas magiging sedimentary rock. Ang metamorphic rock na dating, na naging sedimentary rock, kapag ininit ulit, magiging metamorphic rock na naman. Ang metamorphic rock, kapag tinunaw mo at pinalamig, magiging igneous rock. Nakukuha ang cycle. Like other rocks, they are subjected to weathering and erosions. A metamorphic rock can change into igneous or sedimentary rock. And the process of converting from one type of rock to another comprise the rock cycle. Okay? That is the process of the rock cycle. And I want you to understand kung ano-ano lahat yung tinatawag nating geologic process. This geologic process are the reason kung bakit po nagbabago yung itsura ng Earth. From the time it was formed, no, as a molten magma planet, no, until the time na ngayon. Hindi naman kasi ganyan ang itsura niyan dati. Dati nga, ang alam natin, supercontinent siya. Pero bakit kaya nagkaroon ng iba-ibang continent ang Earth? It is because of this geologic process. And we have two types. We have the exogenous and the endogenous. Exogenous happens outside the Earth's surface or in the Earth's surface, at the Earth's surface. Endogenous happens inside the Earth, inside Earth. Ito po yung tinutukoy natin kanina na nangyayari sa mga bato. Weathering, erosion, mass wasting, sedimentation. Ang mga nangyayari naman sa loob, magmatism, volcanism, morphism. Okay? So this lesson will be discussed on our second quarter. Hanggang rock cycle lang muna tayo for the first quarter. Okay? That is our lesson about rocks, and I hope you understand our discussion.